One. Welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly, where every Saturday we talk about anything pro wrestling, and we apologize for not staying on top of things. We've just been so busy as of lately, but we are back and better than ever, and actually going to be talking about some things that have come up over the past couple of weeks on WWE from Monday Night Raw. But before we get too far into the conversation, I'd like to give a big shout out to at LUFC WWE. That's one of my Twitter followers. He made me a Twitter header and profile picture containing divas, and it was just amazing. So shout out to him. But on this episode, we are going to be talking about the return of Daniel Bryan and him being at the Royal Rumble. What could be possibly be in store for that? The Authority also returning, and the man they call Sting. And we are here once again with my friend Sean. How are you doing?
I am absolutely astonishing, Steve. I am so ready to talk about the Royal Rumble and the return of Daniel Bryan and the Authority and my boy Sting. I am so pumped and ready for this.
I am pumped to be back behind the mic and recording another episode of Pro Wrestling Weekly. It's good to be back. Alright,
Good to have you back.
Yeah, it's definitely good to be back. Alright, so Daniel Bryan, he returned a few weeks ago on Monday Night Raw. He tweeted about some life-changing decision, which I thought, and he got us good, I thought he was going to retire. That didn't end up being the case. He's actually returning to the WWE and is going to wrestle at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, which is going to be in about 2 weeks' time on Sunday. What are your thoughts, Sean? Because I know that you and I have talked about it a few times, and we are both a bit skeptical about Daniel Bryan returning and wrestling. So, what are your thoughts?
Well, first, let me say that now that Daniel Bryan's back, I really hope that they're scrapping Roman Reigns winning the Rumble. Because now that you've got D-Bry back, and you've got Dolph Ziggler on the rise, and you've got all these different possible people that people are wanting to win over Roman Reigns, I really hope that they finally realize, oh, they don't want this new guy winning the Rumble so quickly.
Right.
Okay, well then, who else should win it? And I think, they probably won't, but I kind of really want Daniel Bryan to win, because I really want to see Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar.
I know that Daniel Bryan said that he wanted to face Brock Lesnar and that was a dream match for him. But we also have to take into account his recent neck surgery and like how you said, it's his career. He's really putting his career on the line by coming back and doing the Rumble.
Because if you ask me, I really hope the same thing doesn't happen to him that happened to Edge. And that's one of the reasons why I don't think they're going to have him win the Rumble. Because as much as I like Daniel Bryan, and as much as I like seeing him on TV, I'd much rather see him not injured. Again.
Yeah. It's a bummer when he just got injured.
Yeah, because he was on the rise after Rumble, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, I just won the title after I beat Triple H, and then I beat Batista and Randy Orton in the main event. Yes, and so on and so forth. It was cool. And then he got injured.
Yeah.
And he poofed.
And I didn't see the point in burying him. That was just a dumb move, but
who are we talking about, Steve?
We're talking about Vince McMahon.
Exactly.
I realized that Vince McMahon's the one that's actually pulling the strings, and Triple H is doing NXT. I totally get that. So everybody's saying, oh, that's Triple H's fault. He buried him. I think Vinnie Mac did.
Well, to be honest, I think it's a combination of things. I mean, with him being gone, that didn't really help him that much.
Not at all.
Because even when he came back, yeah, the whole crowd was going, yes, yes, yes. At the same time, it's like, as much as I like Daniel Bryan, and as much as I like Daniel Bryan in his earlier years with Bryan Danielson, it's still like, even though you're a great wrestler, I'm not emotionally invested in you that much anymore. Because you've been gone off my TV for so long. And now he's right back in the main event picture. I'm glad, because I wouldn't want to see him try and rise up in the ranks again. But at the same token, I'm still a little scared, because I don't want him to get injured, and I really hope he doesn't get the Batista treatment at the Rumble, which I don't think he will. I think that at the Royal Rumble, when he does wrestle, if they do end up making him win, or at least they give him a very strong showing, then he'll get his fan base back.
Right. Now, I have...
Go ahead.
Oh, wait, you want me to go, or did you want to continue?
No, you're good. I was just going to say, as much, like I said, as much as I like it, I really am afraid that they're going to fuck it up. Excuse my French for younger people, but I don't think they're going to give him the win right away either. I really don't.
Now,
as much as I want them to.
While we're talking about Daniel Bryan and the Rumble, if he does end up getting injured again and redoing the neck injury, do you think that's it for him?
That's good for him?
Like, no, that's it for him.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like if he ends up hurting his neck again, then he's gonna be the next Edge. I mean, that's it. And I don't want that to happen. That's my whole thing, is I really just don't want that to happen. Because that's the whole reason why Edge retired. Because after WrestleMania, when he retained the title, he was like, guys, I'm gone, deuces, I'm out, doctor says I shouldn't be wrestling, I'm going to heed their warning. Daniel Bryan did not.
Yeah.
He's still going on. And that scares me.
Yeah, I'm really worried. Like, I understand people are like, yes, Daniel Bryan's back. Yes, finally. You know, our favorite superstar's back. Yay! But do you not remember what happened a few months ago? He got a neck injury. Like, that's the problem I have with the IWC, which is the Internet Wrestling Community. We have a name, which is great, but like, that's the problem. I don't think most of them realize that he got injured, and the severity of a neck injury, especially the way it happened. I don't think they realize the severity of, like, his career either making it or breaking it.
Well, it's not even that. I just think people don't care.
Like,
if you really think about it, I mean, think about this. We need to realize who our audience is. The audience are women and kids, and then the adults and teenagers who still go just to hope that something crazy happens.
right.
That's the audience. So the adults and the teenagers obviously realize this dude just broke his neck, and they don't know if they should do surgery again.
Right.
He could get seriously hurt.
Yeah.
The kids, Daniel Bryan's back! Yay! I'm so happy! Women, I brought my son here, and this is who he cheers, and he's got a beard. I like beard. Yay! That's it. Like, there's not really... Yeah, I'm not trying to generalize women. I know there are some women who actually pay attention to wrestling. But for the most part, that's the crowd.
Yeah.
And it's the people like us who realize that people don't realize the severity of situations that happen to wrestlers.
Right.
Like, I can tell you for one thing, I had no clue about CM Punk's injuries.
Yeah, I didn't.
Not a clue. And yet now, after everything that happened and him coming out was just an eye-opener, it makes you really realize what happened and what could happen.
Yeah. Like, that's what I like about podcasts now, because most pro wrestlers, and I'm going to use the term pro wrestlers, not sports entertainers. I like how pro wrestlers are actually coming on podcasts, are willing to come onto podcasts to like tell their story. It's just it kind of adds that wow factor, but it's also like, oh, this is what's really going on.
And I mean, I feel bad that they're doing it in a way because I consider myself an old school wrestling fan. So now I'm going to bring up this term, and for those who don't know, kayfabe is something that was used back in the 80s and early 90s and way far beyond that. And the whole point of it was the good guys and the bad guys stay away from each other. And the backstage politics that happen in wrestling are never supposed to be revealed, ever.
Right.
But now that time goes on, and people realize there are actually backstage politics going on, and now that they've been shown on screen and off screen and things like that, I believe now wrestlers are finally realizing that in this age where you can go online right now, Google Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels, the rivalry, you can get the whole backstage story of how Bret was fighting with Vince and how Michaels wouldn't do the job and Bret wouldn't do the job and all this. It's like now that we can go on and actually find this stuff out, there's really no point in keeping it a secret anymore.
Yeah.
So now that there are all these wrestling podcasts like Jim Ross's, Jericho's, Kaz's new podcast, Colt Cabana's podcast that he's had for so long, and Stone Cold and all these other ones, it's like wrestlers finally have an outlet to let out frustrations they might have had or some interesting stories that we never heard before.
Yeah.
And all this different information that before you couldn't get.
Yeah.
And I think that's why a lot of fans like you and I and the IWC nowadays, I think that's why we're getting so more, like a lot more vocal with our opinions, because yeah, sure, we don't know how to run a business. We don't know how to do this and that. But at the same time, it's like we kind of understand how things probably should go.
Yeah.
And we realize when things aren't going right.
Yeah.
It's obvious.
And
so that's why I feel like now with the Daniel Bryan injury, I feel like they're going to exploit it way more and so on and so forth. And it's just, I don't think it's going to be good. All in all.
If he doesn't get injured during the Rumble, hey, you know, he survived another day.
But then there's tomorrow.
Yeah.
But then there's tomorrow.
Yeah, there's
That's
tomorrow.
the scary part.
Yeah.
He literally could take a suplex and they have to stop the match.
Yeah.
If he lands wrong. That's the scary factor of it all.
Well, do you think they would stop the match?
Hands down. They'd have to. I mean, if somebody delivers a suplex to him and he is completely unresponsive, you'd probably be able to tell.
Right.
I mean, most likely, whoever the wrestler he's facing is will most likely go for the pin or notice it and let the ref know and then stop it. But
right.
Who knows how they'd settle it. All I know is that I kind of wish Daniel Bryan did say that he was going to retire. Or at least said that the doctors don't know what's going to happen. So this major announcement is he will not be in the Royal Rumble and he's going to wait and hear what the doctor says yesterday.
Alright. While we're still talking about Daniel Bryan and the Rumble, if he does end up winning the Rumble, that is, if they're still not going with the idea of Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, do you think putting Daniel Bryan up against Brock Lesnar would be a safe idea? I mean, I know that there's not no such thing as like a safe working environment in the WWE, but putting Daniel Bryan up against Brock Lesnar,
I'm worried about it. If it does happen, because of the way Lesnar works, that's why I'm terrified. Because I don't know if you guys have seen any match between Brock Lesnar versus Cena in 2014, but if you have, let me just say that German suplex doesn't look fun to take. Especially 16 of them in a row.
It doesn't
seem like a fun bump.
It doesn't look fake. I mean, that guy is honestly a powerhouse. I don't care if people say he's part-time or he's not a really good champion.
Right.
That guy's a monster. Like,
yeah, and I mean, you have to sell it.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. You gotta sell it, and you gotta make him look like a monster. Because that's the whole thing backstage, is this guy, his gimmick is that he's a monster who shows up when he wants and attacks anybody whenever he wants. That's why he's never on Raw.
Right.
Because he's a special attraction. He's the big bad Luke Daddy monster, the current champion, the one who became the one in 21 and 1.
Right.
Was the one. It's like, you have to make him look strong. So if you put him up against Daniel Bryan, Daniel Bryan's going to have to sell the pumpernickel out of his German suplexes and his F5s. And his belly-to-belly suplexes and every other throw Lesnar's best to do.
Right.
But then again, Steve, if you guys watch Raw, I don't even know if Lesnar's going to be champion at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Let's actually get into that, because that's another topic, the Royal Rumble. In case you guys missed Raw, or
slept through it like me,
or haven't checked the internet, you would have known that Seth Rollins, Mr. Money in the Bank, the supposed future of the WWE, got added to the Lesnar and Cena match at the Royal Rumble, which honestly caught me off guard and kind of doesn't make any sense to me. I was actually watching Gore and Perkins, which is a YouTube channel, and they were talking about how they may make Lesnar lose, so have like Cena win, and then have Rollins cash in Money in the Bank right then and there.
Which would be pretty cool, I think.
How do you feel that the match is going to go down?
Well, honestly, I have no clue where they're going now with Rollins. Now, I've been thinking about a bunch of different scenarios that could and could not happen. And one of the scenarios I realized, and that I've actually read other people bring up that I think would be really cool, is having Rollins, like having Lesnar win and then Rollins cash in, but have Roman Reigns win the Rumble, and then somehow by a fast lane, and 13 Ambrose in there, and have a triple threat for the other title with the Shield.
That was actually...
And then whoever wins that one wins. I think that would have been, that's one of the really cool ideas that they could do. But I think, Steve, it all really depends on Lesnar. Because, you know, with the talks of him leaving after Mania and going to UFC to get punched in the face for real again.
And fight CM Punk.
Philip Brooks, Steve.
Philip my bad. Now. My bad, Philip Brooks. Man, my bad.
No, but it's like now that he has that option to go to UFC or even Bellator, if they throw their hat in the mix, it's like WWE has to wait on him. And I personally don't think that's fair for the booking committee or the creative team, that you have to wait on one wrestler to figure out your main event for the biggest show of the year.
Yeah.
That doesn't add up to me. But then again, I don't work for them, so I don't know any better. But that's just how I see it, because quite frankly, if your company is basing your biggest show off of one superstar's decision, then I think something's wrong there.
Alright, I agree. You mentioned like a triple threat Shield match, and I know, like you said, a lot of people want to see something like that ever since the Shield breaking up. I mean, that's kind of been the talk now for quite a while. I mean, when did the Shield break up? Last year?
No, 2013. Because remember, Steve, this is 2015 now.
Oh yeah. Wait, so that was really 2 years ago, technically.
Yeah.
Okay, so oh my god.
Oh yeah. They broke up in 2013. Or it could have been last year. I really can't remember anymore what goes on in WWE. Yeah, they ended up, when they broke up, it was really cool. Everybody thought you'd see whatever. But what ended up happening was Roman Reigns getting injured, Dean Ambrose being in what could have been one of the greatest feuds in WWE history with them and Wyatt, where they really dropped the ball. But I'm not going to get into that, because then I'll go off on a whole other hour rampage. But it's like, after they broke up the Shield, everybody was like, oh snap, now we get to see these three fight. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You just kind of get to see them do their own thing. And it's really bad, and none of it worked. The only person who benefited from the Shield breaking up was Rollins.
Yeah.
Roman got injured, and even now that he's back, he still can't sit through one of his matches, although I will admit him versus Rollins was really good. And poor Dean is just in every gimmick match you could think of with Bray.
Yeah.
And it's just like, they really dropped the ball on that.
Yeah.
They really did. They could have done way better. And I was really expecting magic with Bray and Dean because of their promo styles. They just would have clashed really well together. But instead, we just got on. So.
Well, when you think of the Shield breakup in like a good sense, I guess you got to see what their weaknesses were. Honestly, I think that was, at least I think that's what the whole entire point of it was to show off their weaknesses. And we can relate this to Nikki Bella being Divas Champion. I mean, sure, the squash match against AJ Lee wasn't the best idea, but we get to see how well she can wrestle, which
I will admit, I'm sorry to cut you off there,
no,
but
fine.
she really did get way better.
Yeah, she did.
As time went on, I can actually watch Nikki wrestle.
Yeah.
And she kind of does Abyss's move, which I think is really funny. But, and for those of you who don't know, Abyss works for TNA, Total Nonstop Action. I know some people have just never heard of him.
Right.
But he kind of has like a Kane-ish type gimmick, and he does the same move she does, and I just think it's really funny comparing the two. But
that is definitely not a comparison, not gonna lie. But yeah, I think in a sense, like seeing their weaknesses, I feel like it was a good idea. Well, when you give us garbage matches, it's like, why? It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I'm hoping, we get a Shield triple threat match. That would be awesome to see at a pay-per-view. And I hope it's a pay-per-view. If they make it on like Raw or SmackDown,
Well, I mean, that was why I thought it was really cool when they did Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose, and they had that whole thing going on.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh hey, that's really cool. Maybe they could have Roman, have input on it or something, or just have Roman Reigns be in the crowd watching, since he was a jerk at the time.
Yeah.
Just do something, but they really dropped the ball on that too.
Yeah.
They really did. Because, I mean, as much as I hate to say it, out of the three members of the Shield, I'm not surprised that Seth Rollins is the one that's most over. I had to put a word to it.
Like over with the crowd, or?
Yes, just over in general. I mean, with the people backstage, with the way his in-ring ability is, and with the crowd as a heel. I mean, I have a friend who said that he ranked Seth Rollins as one of the top 5 heels of all time.
Oh, wow.
Just because of how well he plays with his character.
Right.
Hiding behind the authority, and whenever he wants what he wants, he gets J&J, my favorite characters right now, besides Menzel, on TV. And then they get, the big slow to come down to the ring and give him something to do because he's been doing the same thing for the last 20 years. It's really cool. Like, it's really nice to finally see something like that happen. Because I can tell you, when I saw Rollins, Ambrose, and Roman Reigns as the Shield in 2012, I would have never thought that when they broke up, because every faction eventually breaks up, that Seth Rollins would end up having his own security team, and Roman Reigns, reminding me of just like the Raven's character in a way of just being a loner and being his own little dude.
Yeah.
And Dean Ambrose no, I lied. I imagine Dean Ambrose being the PG-13 version of Bryan Pillman, but...
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you ever watched his PWW stuff, which is Combat Zone Wrestling, for those who don't know. It's an independent promotion, and he was just crazy.
Yeah.
So, I wasn't surprised really there. I am surprised how back he is, though. Like, I understand his character is the mold of PG-13, but it's like, a guy can't be crazy just because he makes weird facial expressions and you put him in hardcore matches.
Right.
That doesn't make someone crazy. Bryan Pillman would run around through the crowd during matches, and he would just wrangle. His promos wouldn't even make any sense, because they wouldn't even be about anybody. They'd just be rambling nonsense. And it was gold. It was funny seeing this crazy dude ramble off about something.
Right.
But, I don't know, I don't like how they drop the ball on that character. But
they seem to be dropping the ball a lot.
Yeah. Well, then again, who are we talking about?
Benny Mac.
Exactly.
I don't know how many times we have to say that when they drop the ball. I think when we see... Well, just clear this up right now for the viewers that are watching. When we refer to they, just think Vince McMahon, okay? Because that's what he's pulling the strings on the main roster.
Well, actually, it's really ironic that we bring him up, because I don't know how many of you guys have the WWE Network, but
for only
there's a show on there. There's a show on there. Yes, for only $9.99. There's a show on there called the Monday Night War, where they show you the nice in-depth details of everything that happened during Monday Night War, which was Nitro, WCW Monday Nitro versus WWF Monday Night Raw, in what was known as the greatest period of all time, a la the Attitude Era, and then Nitro, I guess, the NWO era is what you'd call it.
Right.
But I was watching their most recent episode where it talked about Vince Russo and Bischoff and their effect on Nitro in Nitro's dying days. And it also just showed you a clip of Vince Russo being the head writer for the WWF. Because for those of you who don't know, Vince Russo is kind of, I'll say in my opinion, he's the guy who gave birth to the Attitude Era. Because Vince Russo had a million crazy ideas, and a lot of them were really good because he was able to filter them through Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Because before Vince Russo took over, you need to understand, WWF characters were people like Doink the Clown, Goon, Max Moon, the Stalker, Duke the Dumpster Rosie, the Plunger, I think his name was, I don't even know. You had Dr. Isaac Yankum, who was a dentist.
A.K.A. Kane.
You had A.K.A. Kane. I mean, you had all these different kooky characters that just didn't make sense to be on a pro wrestling promotion.
Yeah.
So you had Vince Russo come in and be like, hey, your show sucks. Take a chance on me. That's almost word for word exactly what he said. And Vince did. And then out popped what's known as the greatest attitude, or the greatest era of all time in wrestling, called the Attitude Era.
Right.
And so, I feel like now we need a new Vince Russo in a way.
Do we even know?
We need some.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Do we even know who the creative writer of WWE is right now?
I think it's Brian Jerwitt still. I don't know, I might have said his name wrong. I really don't know who the head writer for it is. But it's like, we just need someone who has the cojones enough to step up and be like, hey, your show sucks. Ratings are falling every week. And all of these other promotions are getting more views.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody brought this up. The Celebrity Apprentice, Donald Trump's reality TV show,
Alright.
gets double the viewers of Raw.
Alright.
I mean, when you got a show that I know personally I never cared for, because it's just another reality TV show, but even the fact that a reality TV series gets double the viewers than wrestling is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I get it, you have to follow the reality TV show every week, but you gotta do the same with wrestling.
Yeah.
But the fact that I can miss a full month of Raw and watch it again, and literally nothing would really happen except maybe a couple debuts, a couple of surprises, and that's it. It's sad.
Yeah, that is sad.
Like, the fact that I can miss Raw from now until the Rumble, and I won't miss a thing.
Right.
I'll still be up to date on everything. Everything will still be the same as when I left. It's embarrassing for me to be able to say that.
Yeah.
And it's embarrassing for people to actually be able to agree with me. That's the real sad part.
Yeah. Yeah, nah, that is sad.
But, like we stated earlier, in this time and age, the fact that all you need to do is look online to find out what happened, it really hurts your views, and it hurts your ratings overall, and it just hurts the product.
Yeah. It's really sad, but I don't know. I guess I'll have to figure out something.
We're just going to have to destroy the internet.
Oh, yeah,
That's the
true.
only way.
True.
That's what we're going to have to do. Just every dirt sheet out there, we'll just have to set to explode.
So, speaking of debuts, or more like a return, the Authority. Wee!
Yay, a storyline that died a year ago, and it's being brought.
Dude, that was stupid. Like, that whole entire segment on Raw was dumb.
Here's my thing. Before I start swearing, and you're gonna have to put a censor on me, Steve, let me just say this.
Well,
As much as I like the Authority, back in 2013, when Triple H, Pedigree, Daniel Bryan, and Orton cashed in Money in the Bank, I liked them. That storyline happened for over a year, and they got stale, and they died.
Yeah.
The fact that when the Authority was brought back, you know what they told us? Survivor Series was pointless. Everything up until then was pointless.
Yeah, that was basically a middle finger to the fans. Like, ha ha ha, you stupid WWE fans.
I understand that you need to bring the Authority back. I get that. But you shouldn't have brought them back now.
Yeah, that was way too soon.
And if they don't officially end the Authority at WrestleMania, then I don't know what's going to happen. Because this storyline needs to die. It needs to die soon.
Indeed.
And you know who I think can kill it, Steve?
Who?
My man Sting.
Oh, I would.
He is the only face I have right now. And I know that sounds silly to say, but quite frankly, with the way they're building it, I think what they're going to do is have Sting and Triple H at Mania, winner takes all, and Sting beats Triple H in his one match and kills the Authority forever. That's what I'm hoping will happen.
That would be pretty cool to see.
Exactly. Happy perfect.
Yeah, I'd like to. The more it gets talked about, I'd honestly rather see Sting versus Triple H than Sting versus Undertaker, because we don't even know.
Well,
we don't even know if Undertaker's coming back or not. I mean, he's getting advertised on trailers, sure, but there's talk about him. There's like talk about him facing Bray Wyatt, and I don't even know how well that match is going to go because of how old Undertaker is, and that's not a rib at Undertaker. It's just the quality of the match.
I know, you're right. I don't want to agree with you because I still really want to see Sting versus Undertaker. But you're right. When it comes down to it,
Here's how I see it. I'm sorry to cut you off, but here's how I see it. You have two older guys that I don't even know if Sting can move around in the ring anymore. I mean, I haven't been watching TNA as much, like before he left. I don't even know if Undertaker's even gonna want to compete in a ring again. I'm kind of worried that it's gonna end up being like Brock Lesnar and Undertaker at WrestleMania 30, where like Undertaker basically let Lesnar deliver the third F5 and just be done with it. That's what I'm worried about.
I know, and you're right.
Yeah.
I just wish that wasn't true.
Yeah. Man, I think that's the first
I
time
honestly think it's too little too late for Sting versus Undertaker.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, if you would have said this match to happen 2 or 3 years ago, I would have pooed my pants. Non-stop. Every day until it happened. Every time I looked at the match card and saw Sting versus Undertaker official, I'd pee myself. But you know what? We're a little too late now. Because as much as I respect the Undertaker, he needs to go in the Hall of Fame as soon as possible.
Yeah, he definitely.
He has done everything he could for this business. He has been one of the most loyal wrestlers to Vince. He's done everything he can for this company, and the company has given him everything back in return.
Yeah.
All he needs to do is get on his dark horse, because you know it's the Undertaker, you have to go with his gimmick. Get on his dark horse, and just go home. And be buried alive, pun intended, for the rest of time. Like, if Undertaker does wrestle one more match against Bray Wyatt, I feel like they should probably have Bray Wyatt go over on him.
Yeah.
And then after that, just have Undertaker look at Bray Wyatt after the match. Instead of a handshake, you just see Undertaker pull up an urn or something and give it to Bray, do his taunt, the lights go out, and Undertaker disappears. That'd be really cool to finally, like, he's legitimately passing the torch onto Bray. And then that way Bray could be like, right, because then the next night Bray could just be like, I am the next Undertaker, mother trucker, and rah 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 rah. But I don't know, I just personally think that is really cool.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't think the match would be that good. And I feel like overall the fans would just be upset that Undertaker lost again.
Yeah, that would probably make Bray an unintentional heel.
Well, I mean, Bray would be the heel the whole time, but he wouldn't be a heel because of his character after that. He'd be a heel because it's like, dude, what the fuck? Right. I mean, granted, I feel like if they did do what I mentioned of Undertaker passing the urn, that'd kind of be like Bray being a good guy. Well, not necessarily a good guy, but Undertaker being like, this is the guy. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know, kind of like how a couple years ago when The Rock raised John Cena's hand when Cena beat him for the title. It's kind of like that. They keep passing the torch and whatnot. It's just one of those sharing moments.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I kind of just want Undertaker to be like, yo, I'm tired. My streak's over with. I've done everything I can. You guys have been amazing. I'm out. Deuces. And he's
Put him in
gone.
the Hall of
Like,
Fame.
Yeah. Put him in the Hall of Fame. Let him have his speech. Let Kane induct him. And let them be like, hey. And you be good.
And let him rest in
You'll be
peace.
good. Exactly, Steve. Let him rest in peace. I like that.
Pun intended.
Oh yes, pun very, very much intended.
So I think...
But I don't know. I don't know. It's, WWE is really weird right now.
Yeah, it is. But hopefully, with NXT, maybe NXT will be the I don't even know what the correct word would be, but I guess savior at this point.
I get what you're saying, yeah. I mean, personally, I kinda, and I know I've mentioned this before, but I kinda want NXT to turn into WCW. Now, I know it sounds weird and crazy, but let me explain for those who are completely confused as to why I compared those companies together. Because imagine this. NXT, instead of it being not necessarily a developmental territory, but just have it be its own show. And you want to know why I say that?
Right.
Let's look, shall we?
Yeah.
Now, excusing the Wyatt family and the Shield, let's look at all the wrestlers brought up from NXT to the main roster.
Alright.
Bo Dallas.
Yeah.
His gimmick was cool. He got over with the crowd, but then WWE ruined him by having R-Truth roll him up for a win.
Yeah.
It was like, you should have had Bo keep the streak. That would have been really cool. So, and he still hasn't really gotten super over with his fans.
Right.
Big D Langston and Xavier Woods, I'll group them up. What have they done? They're thrown into a stable that nobody cares about. The New Day. Nobody cares.
Right.
At all. Literally 0 people care. There may be 1 kid fan. I know my brother's a Kofi fan, so he likes New Day. But, that's it. And then, let's see, who else is there? I can't even remember. The Ascension. Oh, God, poor Ascension. Oh, they were so cool.
Don't you
in
mean the
NXT.
Legion of Doom?
Oh, yeah, sorry, the Legion of Doom. I'm sorry, the Road Warriors. Road Warrior Connor, Road Warrior Victor.
Yeah.
I mean, it was bad. Like, Lance Storm posted on Twitter that he was, like, he shut Raw off after the Ascension promo because of them making fun of Hawk. Which, they really didn't. They just made fun of the Legion of Doom. And it's because they're a heel tag team, that's what they do.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, he's deceased, man. Don't make fun of them.
Yeah.
Just let them have their legacy. Like, they could have made fun of, it's like Axe and Smash, you get that.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know, they kind of went a little overboard with that one, I think.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, I still don't understand why they're not wrestling normal tag teams and just local talent. Because it's like, yeah, I get it, some people don't watch NXT and they don't know who the Ascension are. But it's like, you had them debut by taking out the former tag team champions, Miz and Mizdow, and now they're fighting, let's see, what's John Goodman and Terry Styles. I know those are really, like, I know some of you are like, Matt, they have One Direction, so it's just a name that popped into my head. But it's like, they literally just take 2 local dudes and, hey, you're going to lose the Ascension. Here you go. It's just like, why can't they face real tag teams?
Yeah.
Why can't you have the Ascension versus the New Day and just have them punch them in the mouth? Then have the Ascension versus whoever and just have them punch them in the mouth. It's like, if you want to push a tag team to get over, why don't you have them beat real tag teams?
Right.
I get it, you need to make them look strong by beating weaklings. But it's like, then when they face a real tag team, it's like, oh, I don't really care, they're just going to destroy them, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But if you have, in the debut match, beat Miz and Mizdow, and then the next night, beat the Usos, like, in a good match, it's like, holy crap, they just beat one of the top tag teams, they're the real deal. Now you got a good tag team. But alas, they don't do that.
Right.
So. But anyway, after that tangent, but it's those are the examples as to why I think NXT should be left alone. Don't touch it. You can still have it be in developmental territory, but let the company be on its own.
Right.
Because, quite frankly, I would, after looking at the Ascension, I really would be scared for the next guy to be brought up.
Right.
Because then he's just going to get crapped on.
Right.
It's not going to be good. It's not.
Right.
It's just going to be poopy.
Right. And don't worry, guys, I realize that the gameplay has ended, but unless there's anything else to talk about, we're just going to keep it on this. Actually, you know what? We're going to put on Sting versus Triple H. in case we have anything else to talk about. So I'm going to get that set up for you guys, and we're going to talk about anything else that we may need to.
Well, let's see. I'm pretty sure we covered everything. I will say this, though. In terms of the Royal Rumble, heading into WrestleMania, and the way they're booking it so far, it's weird.
Yeah.
And it's not that interesting. I'm not going to lie to you, it's not that interesting. I mean, I know I made a slight comment earlier, but legitimately, last Monday on Raw, I fell asleep. After Bad News Barrett fought Dolph Ziggler, and I was sitting on my couch watching Raw, I fell asleep.
Yeah. I really wish
and
that.
And I wasn't tired.
I wish that. I get it, Wade Barrett, ex-Intercontinental Champion, let's make him five-time Intercontinental Champion, but I like Ziggler better, and I think that's, like, the problem that Vince McMahon is, like, or the creative team, we'll blame the creative team, is doing. Like, we get so...
Well, no, I understand. I agree with you. Creative team sucks. But, I mean, think about it. He had to get fired, silly goose.
Yeah.
He got fired. He can't be champion when he's getting fired. I mean,
that's true.
It's going to be a week or two before we see him again. But, I don't know, man. It's like, I don't like that they think we're that stupid.
Yeah. Wait, you did say that Ziggler would probably be back in like a week or two, right?
All of them, most likely.
Alright, so let's make the prediction right here. That way we can look back on this and be like, hey, we called it first, so yeah. Eric Rowan, Ryback, and Dolph Ziggler, we believe, will be back by, or at, shall we say, the Royal Rumble?
No, they'll be back before then.
Alright.
What's going to end up happening is they're going to come up through the crowd next week during whatever match or non-match stuff happens. Then it's going to be like, holy crap, it's Ziggler, Rowan, and Ryback. They were fired last week. Why are you doing back, Metal? Why are you doing back? Well, I don't know, JBL. I don't know why they're back. And then they're going to be like, yeah, we're back. You can fire us. And then it's going to be like, and then somebody's going to be like, you want to attack us? You don't really think that? Well, guess what? You're reinstated, and you're going to be in a 20-on-3 handicap match. Something stupid, ridiculous like that. Because that's how they do things.
Yeah, I can...
They're not consistent. It's bad. It's so bad. I can't stand it anymore.
Well...
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, Dolph Ziggler will show the whole world, right? Ryback will be fed more, and then Eric Rowan will continue wearing the sheep thing. It's fine.
Yeah. Which, okay, you know what? I'm glad we brought him up. Poor Eric Rowan, okay?
Yeah, I thought he would have gotten a better push.
Well, I'm probably alone. Excuse me there. Ugh. I'm probably alone in saying this, but I really enjoyed Rowan's character. When Bray Wyatt did his whole Luke Harper, I'm free, and Eric Rowan did his whole, when I was a young kid, they always made fun of me and call me names. That's like, holy crap, you can do something amazing with that. Because I'm pretty sure, I said this in our last episode, but Eric Rowan, if I can talk, Eric Rowan reminds me a lot of Eugene.
Yeah.
From the week before. And here's how. They both, Eugene had his special gimmick, where his special gimmick was that he was special.
Right.
And Eugene's gimmick made it funny. He did funny, silly things that made people laugh.
Yeah.
So then you look at Eric Rowan. Eric Rowan could have been special when he was young, and that's why they made fun of him. But now he's angry because they made fun of him. So now you have, like, Michael Cole, how they gave him the nickname Big Red, Beard, he could accidentally hear them, go out, and then take Michael Cole and throw him, and just have him get upset and build his character like that. But no, you know what they did? They had him face Big Show in a steel stuff match, and they had him lose during his push. Why? Because they have to have Big Show look strong when he faces Roman Reigns at the Rumble, which is stupid, and it irritated me to no end, and it didn't make any sense. The only person out of the Wyatt family right now who I care about the most is Luke Harper, because his matches with Dolph Ziggler were amazing.
Right.
And Luke is a very good talent. He can wrestle really well, and it's crazy how well he can wrestle. Why he's wrestling Jack Swagger, I don't know. I don't know why, but he is. And I'm also one of the few people who like him as an Intercontinental Champion. I don't like that he never defended it that much in a normal one-on-one match where he just won.
Right.
But then again, I don't run WWE, so I don't know. And that's the same with Rusev. I don't care about Rusev anymore, because all he does is get disqualified to keep the belt now. He makes him look like a punk, and it's not cool. It's not.
Right.
There are some wrestlers where you just need to make them a monster.
Right.
Brock Lesnar. Like Brock Lesnar. He's a monster. I get it, the last title match he was in, he had Seth Rollins interfere. That's fine. But Lesnar didn't interfere. Paul Heyman didn't interfere.
Right.
You have to have wrestlers still be big wrestlers, so that way fans can believe in them.
Yeah.
Rusev. If you would have kept Rusev kicking people in the mouth and keeping the belt that way, that would have been great. You don't book Rusev versus Roman Reigns just so that way you can have Big Show come out and interrupt it. It's like, no. Because then they do it again, and he does the same thing. You do it again, and he does the same thing. It's like, why do you book it that way? It doesn't make sense.
Right.
And that's why wrestling right now, as a whole, is so weird and confusing.
Yeah.
And I know we didn't touch base on it, but that's why I'm so excited for Global Force Wrestling. Let's just get it.
Yeah.
Because they give me hope again in the world. They do. I'm so excited. Like NJPW was so good. It was so good. So good. Steve, you don't even understand. It was so good.
Alright. So, we covered a lot of things on this show, as I can't really say as we have because we've only had 2 shows, but I think we've covered a lot in this episode.
Yeah.
We've also covered a lot in the first episode as well. If you guys haven't checked out the first episode, and I will shamelessly promote my own videos, because why not? If you guys haven't checked out the first episode of PWW, please go ahead and do so after when you're done watching this. And yeah, I mean, I think we've pretty much covered everything that I can think of.
I agree. Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add?
All I have left to say, Steve, is that for the people who can still watch Raw, that's off to you. I'm personally not going to watch it until the Rumble, because I'm going to test my theory, and I'm going to see how everything's going on.
Right. Alright, well, thank you guys for tuning in, and thanks for Sean, as always, for coming up on here and sharing his wrestling views with the YouTube world, the IWC. I'm glad we're able to do this every now and then. It's really cool. Alright, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to body slam that like button below. Subscribe to make sure that this podcast video gets in your sub box. And beware the Scorpion Death Drop that Sting just delivered to Triple H just now. And I will see you guys in the next episode of Pro Wrestling Weekly and in one of my other videos.